Gimel Amud Aleph, 8 lines on the bottom. Tanu Rabbanan, Rabbi told us. This is 2, 4, 6, 8 lines on the bottom. From the bottom, from the abajo. Ocho líneas desde abajo.
53, 8.
הרבה זמן הגענו אליך. איפה? של הבוקר. אלה זה המועזין של הבוקר. אנחנו ישנים. אז שלא, המועזין היהודי. הם מחכים אותנו. אבל לפעמים היינו, איך אומרים, חסר היית. לא ראית אותנו. אז הם שבאו, והם. תנו רבנן, Rabbi told us. היה מהלך בחוץ לקרח. If somebody was walking outside of a city, והריח ריח, and he smelled the smell. Somebody was walking outside of the city and he's smelling a smell. Im rov ovdei kochavim, if the majority is goyim, idol worshippers, ein amavar, he doesn't bless because most likely the smell came, the Buddha. Most likely the smell came from ovdei kochavim, avodah zarah, so he can make a blessing. מי? ליבה. אם הוא יבוא, מגיע. אם רוב ישראל, if the majority are Jewish people in the town, מבורך, he blesses. Rabbi Yossi says, Afilu Rov Yisrael Nami. Even if the majority are Jews in town, you don't make a blessing on the smell you smell if you don't know where it comes from. Why? Porque? Why? Afilu Rov Yisrael Nami. Even the majority of the people in town are Jewish people, and you smell a smell, you cannot make a decision that came from the majority and make a blessing on it. Why? Mipnei, because שבנות ישראל, the daughters of Israel, oy vay voy, mekatrot lakshafim, they put fragrance to witchcraft. The Gemara asks, Atu, is it kulu lakshafim mekatran? What all Jewish girls are, they burn incense for witchcraft, which means the minority are going vadai. Majority, which are Jews, it still doesn't help because from that majority, half is women. So you have minority going, majority of Jews, which half is women, and women, the Jewish women, burn incense, fragrance for witchcraft. The Gemara says, Atu kulu lechshafim mikatra? Is it all of the Jewish girls burn incense for the sake of witchcraft? Aveli miut lekshofim. It is a minority for witchcraft. Umiut onami legamer esakenim. And you have a minority that burn incense for put smell into the clothing. They used to burn incense in order the clothing would be smell. Like today we have cologne, we have all those different fragrance, perfume, who knows what on the clothing. So that's Gemara answers. Minority is for witchcraft. Another minority is to bring smell to clothing. Ishtachkach comes out, Ruba, no, you can't make a blessing on it. It's not a blessing for smell. It's not fragrance to smell, it's fragrance to smell the clothing. We're going to talk about it. And then we'll explain right now. Eshtakach hubo delav lereicha avid. Majority of the smell is not made for smell, rather, or for witchcraft, or for to put the smoke.
הוא בא לפה, הוא אומר שזה...
הוא לא סתם מבקר.
הוא מבקר, הוא לומד בישיבה, הוא לבוא פה בן.
מסתובב דוד, לא אני לא מסתובב באמריקה.
Sorselias.
זה לא אני, זה דוד.
Sorselias, ¿qué? ¿Brujería?
אני לא זה לאף אחד. אני לא עושה לו אמריקה לאף אחד.
No estoy oxidado. No creo que me manes.
אני לא הולך.
¿Se están entendiendo?
אני פה בורח.
Tienes una
לגמר את הכלים, Rashi says, look the last Rashi in the page. לבשם בעשנו את הבגדים. He wants to give smell with the smoke to the clothing. So it's made to smell the clothing and not for people. וכל רובו דלאו לריחו ולא מבורך. Any majority is not made for smell or for witchcraft or to give smell to the clothing, but not for human beings, you don't make a blessing on it. It's a big chiddush. That smell which is not made, I thought you went to work at night.
No,
Baruch haba. Voila. Come.
In the middle of some stores have a special scent in there. It makes your mind want to buy. Did you notice?
What? Again?
In some stores,
Yes.
in the middle of some other places,
Yes.
spray a certain scent in the store, makes you want to, you're walking by, you smell it,
They want to buy.
you want to buy it. It makes you think
And I know also that I have certain music that the music causes people to buy. There is a big organization in America. It's called Ralph. Ralph, you heard about them? It's a big company. It's a big mind thinking tank. Think tank. That they have anybody that enters this think tank has to be over 180 IQ. And what they do is they work for American government or for big companies. How to influence people. For example, Prignil, how do you call it? This chips, Pringles. That they worked and they spend millions of dollars to how to cause the people the amount of salt, the crunchy, the color of the bottle, the way it's being shaped. Before you walk into the store, they're already pre-chosen for you what to buy. Yes, the color, this and that. And not only that, they found out there was a company that was selling food for dogs. And all the time, when they took the dog, somebody took a dog to the supermarket, he passed next to the dogs of one company, dog food, one company, starts barking. He wants to eat that food. They couldn't figure out. It was selling like crazy, man. Hundreds and hundreds percentage of it went up in sales like crazy. What happened was they found out that the company gave big supermarkets for free CDs in those days with music, good music for selling. What they did is they put some other, the dogs can hear, they have different sibilim, they can hear different frequencies that human being cannot hear. Yeah. And they put through frequencies that dogs can hear, frequencies of dog food or whatever it is. And when the dog passed by, he was barking because he was hearing from the music what he couldn't hear. Human being couldn't hear, but the dog was hearing. Yeah. So when the dog was passing by next to the dog food, he was barking. Oh, my dog loves this dog food. I buy it for him. And that's how they bought a lot of it, and they got big lawsuits. But Lemaise, the point is that if those smells are made not for people to smell, rather for have the clothing smell, even though it's a smell, but it's not human beings, it's clothing. So then, or for witchcraft, you don't make a blessing on it. There's a big problem of women. The Gemara says, why does it say, machshefa lo techayeh? What does the word machshefa means? Witchcraft. Why it says machshefa by a female language? It should have said mechashef. Because most witches are women. Why is that? You don't know? Ask your wife. No, I'm joking. Most women are witches, right? To be sure. I'm joking. But the reason is that women by nature, since they are very into midas adin, law of judgment, they're very into by nature, they can be dragged into witchcraft. So, for example, if you go to, many years ago I told you that story that I went to Egypt, right? I went to Kamombo. You know what's Kamombo? Yes. Kamombo is in the southern part of Egypt. Now, if a tourist goes to Egypt today, you can't just travel anywhere you want. They permit you to give you areas they permit. I went to Dimanhu, I went to Aswan or to all those places like Luxor. Those are tourist places. But I wanted to go to small little cities in order, because they told me in those areas, all the women know how to do witchcraft. In Egypt, it's very common by women in certain areas, right? Very common that women know how to do witchcraft. It's very till today. It's not far away till today. And they do a lot of witchcraft things, and they tie things. They say mumbles, words, this and that, and they have a lot of witchcraft. So I went also in Brazil.
Yeah.
It's big in women, right? Shamanim, but women.
Mm-hmm, they do
a lot of witchcraft. So women are witchcrafts. They're very, in a way, spiritual, but in the wrong spiritual. Instead of being spiritual with God and trusting God that He does what He wants, they want to hold on to physical witchcraft and things like that. And they're very into that. So I traveled to Kamombo. I traveled all the way down to southern of Egypt in order to see which women that they know how to do witchcraft. And I learned. But I learned a little bit how to do witchcraft. It says that you're allowed to learn how to do, but not to do. Atalamid lehorotam. You learn how to teach, but not to do. You're not to do. You're not to do witchcraft. So, for example, if somebody loses something, I know how to tie with demons to find lost objects.
Even carving?
If you lose, for example, something, I know how to swear demons and bring what you lost back.
Wow.
Tough luck. But it says in the Ramah, there's Machlok and Mechaber and Ramah. The Mechaber says you're not allowed to do so. The Ramah says Ashkenazim say you're allowed to do so, but anyone that does so and is common to do so will get hurt from by them. The hand will hurt the person. Ashba'at sheidim limtzo metziot. To swear with demons to find lost objects.
I thought you were talking about craft. But witchcraft, now I get the other. Você estava falando, não é essa artesania. Bruxaria.
No.
Que é artesanato.
No, parece te preguntar.
Sí. Pero hay
They're very into that. Women are very into witchcraft.
Isso hay más.
This is not similar with the concept de lo que hay de medir. The person puts
No. Look, it's God. But anyhow, what the Gemara says here, that majority of women, the daughters of Israel, unfortunately, they burn incense for the sake of witchcraft, because they're very involved in witchcraft. That's the nature of Jewish girls. Unfortunately, that's one in Islam. That's very bad. The Gemara in Masechet Avodah Zarah brings many stories how women used to do witchcraft against men. You know, a lot of women, for example, they want to love people or they want to put hatred, so they put stones on somebody's door, they pour this and that, all those witch stories, because they're very into manipulating. They want to manipulate through witchcraft. It's really serious. I don't know if in America it's so common, but in South America, in Central America, in Egypt, in Brazil, it's very common to have those.
Yeah, really common.
What?
Really
common. It's common. Every women know all those things. They can,
even the children know it. They lost some stuff and they had stuff to do. If they find it, they jump 3 times.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's Tom ideas. No, but they're real. They really know how to do witchcraft. It's very common by women. But the chiddush of this Gemara that even Jewish women, that's the chiddush, that even Jewish women at the time of the Gemara, a lot of them were doing witchcraft. And the Torah says, what's the punishment of a witchcraft? Lo techayeh, you cannot keep them alive. There's a famous story, about Rabbi Shimon ben Shattach. You ever heard that story, Shimon ben Shattach? Ashkelon, in the city of Ashkelon, there were a lot of witchcraft women. And there was a big cave in Ashkelon that 80 witchcrafts were living there. And they were straying a lot of the Jewish men. Because all the Jewish men in the entire southern area of Israel used to go to those 80 witchcraft women because they knew really how to do things and people were very involved with them. So Rabbi Shimon ben Shattach was the high priest and he was the leader of the Jewish people. He wanted to get rid of them. So what did he do? He traveled to Ashkelon and he went to speak to those 80 women. But they say, hey, we know who you are. You are Rabbi Shimon ben Shattach. What do you want from us? He says, I want to show you a new action of witchcraft that I know and I know nobody else in the world knows. He says, yeah. So you'll see now it's getting dark, it's getting night. We'll wait a few minutes, it gets dark. I would whistle, a certain whistling, and when I whistle, you will see suddenly 80 men standing with torches.
Torch is like a wood burning.
Yes.
A tosha.
Torcha. Now what did he do? He got 80 men, young men, strong young men, to bring jugs. You know those jugs? Jugs, as clay jugs. A vessel. Vase. And put in the vase the fire of the torch. And he told him, you light the fire, and when I whistle, you take out of the jug the fire, and you stand and you walk into the cave. And once the witchcraft will see that I can do witchcraft actions, they will let me into the cave. And the minute you get into the cave, each man will grab one woman in witchcraft, and grab her, and I'll kill them. Okay. So he went to them and he whistled. And then suddenly 80 men with 80 torches standing up with 80 torches. Wow. He says, come in. They all come in. They say, who are those? Maybe those demons. And they see those guys coming in with torches. And they stood up on one line, and all the women are looking at him. And suddenly he says, go! And everybody jumps. Each man grabs one woman, and they grab and they pick them out of the ground. Why? Because witches cannot do anything if they're not standing on the ground. A witch cannot do witchcraft if it's not standing on the ground. Only if the woman is attached to the ground has a power to do witchcraft. But once she's standing in the air, she cannot. Don't forget about this flying stick. That's true. Yes.
What about she's fat?
So they got strong men. They got strong men to pick them up. And they picked them up with all the energy and tie them. And they dragged them all the way to Yerushalayim, to the Supreme Court, to the Sanhedrin in Yerushalayim. And on the same day, Shimon ben Shattach judged them all, and he killed them all the 80 were the same women in the same day. The Gemara says it's one of a kind, because really, halachically, you're not allowed to judge and kill in the same day. You have to wait, sleep overnight to judge them before you kill a person. But because he knew that those witchcraft have a lot of family members, and who knows, they will pull and we're not able to kill them. You want to get rid of the witchcraft in the land of Israel. Because once those 80 women got killed, all the other women were afraid to do witchcraft. And those women had relatives after he killed them, and they took revenge against Rabbi Shimon ben Shattach. What they did, two men came and gave a testimony that the son of Rabbi Shimon ben Shattach broke Shabbat. And they warned him not to break Shabbat, and he did it in public, and he broke Shabbat. And that's where he deserved the son of Shimon ben Shattach. They lied. And they brought two witnesses, false witnesses, and the court, asked them 20 questions, they couldn't break them down. So they had to kill the son of Shimon ben Shattach. And before he went to be killed, he cried, he says, I know they're lying. And normally before you stone a person, you tell him he has to say in Beis Din, Te'emi tati kaparati. My death has to be my atonement. But he says, he said like this, if I really killed, my death would be atonement. But if not, my death should be a big judgment. Ooh, shalom aleichem. My death will be a big judgment against those families of the witchcraft that lied and made me to be killed. And there was an argument the rabbis were allowed him to say that or not. They didn't allow him to say it because they cannot go against court. But anyhow, this is a very sad story, but that's what happened. So Rabbi Shimon ben Shattach, he killed those 80 witchcraft. So witchcraft are, it says, machshefa lo techayeh. You're not allowed to keep alive machshefa. Those witchcraft you have to kill. So doing witchcraft is something very, very serious. Now, all those tricks that people do, that David, I forgot his name, David, famous guy. David, what's his name? Black? Copperfield. David Copperfield, all those things, those are fake. Those are tricking of the eyes tricking. Achizat einayim. I'm not talking about a very real witchcraft you're not allowed to do, and if you do it, if a person does it, Chaz v'sholom, he deserves death. So, since the machloket between Mechaber and Ramo, Mechaber says you're not allowed to do it, the Ramo says you're allowed. And even the Ramo says you're allowed, he says anyone that does it, that he swears demons for finding lost object, he says, anyone that does busy with them and it will not be clean and then it will damage him. So with all that, that's why I don't do those things. But they might say, I wanted to learn how do you do those things. How do you do? Because the Gemara says, you're not allowed to do Avodah Zarah, or you're not allowed to do witchcraft. But you're allowed to understand and then what to teach not to do. And the Gemara says many stories that women did witchcraft against rabbis, and the rabbis knew how to untie it. Because they wanted to damage and grab men. So how the Gemara said how we have to, because they learned. They learned how to untie. So rabbis need to know how to get rid of those witchcrafts. It's not so common today, but still in countries like Brazil, Egypt, or many of those countries, not only Brazil, I think all over South America and Mexico is very common. Jamaica, Haiti has the voodoo. It's very common, and there's a lot of shamans and voodoos and this and that, especially by women. All day long, they do witchcraft stuff. What? They have temples and have this and that, so that. They're very involved into witchcraft. So the Gemara says here, if somebody walks out of the town and he smells the smells, according to Rabbi Yossi, even if the majority of the people, the inhabitants of the city are Jewish men, still you're not allowed to make a blessing on that smell because majority are Jewish, and the Jewish women, which they are the ones that burn fragrance, minority does it for witchcraft, and another minority does it for giving smell and smoke into the clothing to keep away all the lice and to give the good smell to the clothing. So it's not really made for smell in general, just for clothing. That's why you don't make a blessing. Omar Ibechia Baraba Mar Rabbi Yochanan. There's 4 lines on the bottom. Mao, show Oriel together. Sit together with it, please. Mao, can you show them together? 4 lines on the bottom. Listen with Rosh. Amar Rabbi Chia Baraba Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Chia Baraba says the name of Rabbi Yochanan. Ame'alech ba'arvei Shabbatot b'Tveria. One who walks in Erev Shabbos in Tiberias. U'b'motzoei Shabbat Shabbatot b'Tzipori. If you walk in Erev Shabbos in Tiberias, or in Moitzeh Shabbos in the city of Tzipori. Tzipori is in a mountain. Tiberias is below the valley. Now in the valley, the air doesn't move so much. The air is stuck, doesn't move much. Especially in the summer, it's very, heavy duty, doesn't move. But Tzipori, it's in the mountains, but above is in the lower Galilee, above Tiberias. So anyone that walks around in Erev Shabbos in Tiberias, or in Motzei Shabbos in Tzipori, and he smell the smell, Eino mevorech, he doesn't make a blessing, mipnei, because shechezkato, the status, Eino asu, is not made, elo legamer bois hakelim, only to put smoke and smell into the vessels. Kelim means vessel, means clothing, to remove all those worms and lice off the clothing and smell into the clothes. They're not really made for smell for human beings. So the custom was in Erev Shabbos in Tiberias or in Tzipori, they used to burn incense and smell, and that was the time. So definitely don't make a blessing. Tanu Rabbanan, the rabbi taught us. Ayam alech bashuk shel Aku. If somebody was walking in the market of Goyim, page 53. If somebody was walking in the market of Goyim, v'nisratz al hariach, it's very important, and he had the will to smell, he's a sinner. It's very important here in Tziyon. Many times in Tziyon you pass by, or in the old city, and you smell the smell of the Christian church that burn incense. Are you allowed to smell the incense, the burning incense of? Are you allowed to smell the burning incense of the Christians doing a mass or things like that?
No.
Many times in Tziyon, you ever smell in the afternoon? Sometimes you smell it. I don't know if you ever smell it.
It smells good.
I think it doesn't smell good anyhow because of Avodah Zarah. But the going burn incense many times.
Que gosta de cheirar o incenso da igreja.
Ame'alech b'shuk shel Aku, one who walks in the market of Goyim, is very common in South America and Brazil. You walk in the market, a lot of people, they have all those voodoos or in East, Far East, they have those Buddhas and voodoos and who knows what, and they burn incense. You walk in the street, all place smells, you can vomit. And the smell, they like those smells, but they,
Botzer.
Ame'alech b'shuk shel Aku. One who walks in the market of Goyim, nisratz el hariach, if he wants, means he's been appeased to smell the smell. He's a sinner because he enjoys Avodah Zarah. And you're not allowed to enjoy Avodah Zarah. So what do? You close your nostril, your nose, and you breathe from your mouth. Or if you don't want to smell it, the fact that the smell enters your nostrils, you're not obligated. There is a Gemara in Masechet Pesachim and other places that if somebody by force gets pleasure, Bachalovi v'arayos. Chalovi means fats. Arayos, women. They take a man and they throw him on a woman by force. They force him to live with a woman. Oines v'chalovi, we say shekenen, the fact he has pleasure. Here, a smell enters a person's naturals by force. He didn't want the smell traveled to him. He didn't ask for the smell. He walks around the market. He cannot not smell it. It just smells everywhere. They burn the incense everywhere. So here we say depends. If he doesn't want it, so then it becomes like by force. The smell is by force. And here we said that although it's pleasure, we don't say like chalovim v'arayos, that the fact that you pleasure by force, it's pleasure. If you don't want it, and the question is why? It's a big shaila why. But that's what the Gemara is. That's a big chiddush to Gemara here. The Gemara is mechadesh, a big chiddush, that when a person gets pleasure of smell, is not similar to pleasure of chalavim v'arayot, fat and forbidden relations. That by forbidden relations and fat, we say oines by force doesn't help, shekenene, even by force because you had pleasure. Here, by a smell, which is only a spiritual pleasure, depends on your mind. If you don't want it, so then you not a peace for it. It's not en ritzui. There's no desire for it. It's okay. But nisratzen, once you want it, the smell, it's your sinner because you're enjoying avodah zarah. And the Gemara doesn't say arei ze oyed avodah zarah, so you're worshiping idol. It says that you're a sinner. So which level is it? We know the law is if somebody enjoys avodah zarah, which is isur ano, right? He doesn't deserve death. He's not worshiping idols, but he's enjoying it. So he does an isur of koyrazor. It's a lav. So maybe that's what it means here. If you desire and you smell it, it becomes like a sinner that you enjoy something which is osur mano, something which is prohibited to get pleasure from. Avodah zarah, even though you don't worship it, but to get pleasure from avodah zarah, you're not allowed. And by you desiring to smell the smell of avodah zarah, you got pleasure with something which needs to be burned and destroyed. You're not allowed to have pleasure from it. You're not allowed to pleasure. You're not allowed to get any benefit from avodah zarah. So if you want to smell, although smell is something that you can, not tangible, smell is not tangible, but yet still is considered pleasure because although it's not tangible, but it's one of the senses, one of the pleasures. She's not allowed to smell. They say today that smell is really small, little micron. The hair carries microns, little pieces of material of the oil itself or the fragrance. It's really small pieces and not recognized, but it's there, come from the fragrance enters your nostril. So you're really enjoying directly the forbidden relations, the forbidden object of avodah zarah. So that's why you're not allowed to desire. So if you walk in the Christian quarter or here by the Christians and they burn incense, you have to hold your nose, or you really have to be in a position you don't really desire it. Because once you desire it, there's a sin. Yes.
Is there any kind of incense that's okay to burn in a home that has nothing in it?
Yeah. All the incense you can burn home. Not a problem. Only if people in the church are burning it for the sake of avodah zarah, like a mass, they have some kind of ritual that they burn incense for the sake of ritual. You passing by and not enjoy it.
So if I want to burn something in my house, let's make the house look good.
Great.
Where would
I'll come visit your house. That's great.
So but there's a particular person to buy it from though, because
The people that made the fragrance made it to fake money. Most of them, they make it for the sake of money. They don't care what you have in your head. They want what you have in your pocket, in your wallet. That's all they care. You know, I don't know. India is different because India, they just have in mind there's billions of Indians. They don't think about money. They think about money for the sake of avodah zarah. It's different. But the factories that sell from India overseas, they don't think about voodoos and all that. They think about money. They don't think about that. So if it's international, it's not made for avodah zarah. But if it's national, like in Brazil, in Brazil, when I was in Brazil last year, I saw Brazil in many areas, especially in the north, they have a mixture of a lot of culture. For example, in the north, you have a lot of black people that were brought from Africa to work in Brazil in the plants, and they married, a lot of them intermarried the white Spanish, and a lot of the customs of the blacks that immigrated, like El Salvador was there. They have a lot of mixed, they can be Christians, but really they're idol worshippers Christians. As they say in Africa, in many countries in Africa, you can say there's 70%, 80% are Christians, 20% are Muslims, and 100% are idol worshippers. But it's very true, which means they adopted like another culture, another idol-worshipping Christianity and Muslim. But in their head, they still have the mindset of idol-worshipping. And they have all those spirits that they worship, and they worship this and witchcraft and this and that. They still have the mindset of Avodah Zarah. Even still today, in South America, in many countries, many places, they still have that concept. They didn't change their mindset. You go to El Salvador, to the beach, where the Africans were brought from Africa. The beach is full of, they have those they call piece of thread that they tie in people's hands, and they tie it down the beach on stones and this and that, and they come there to pray, an afternoon, at night, this and that, and they have all those carnivals, which are mixed with carnivals,
Aquela fitinha da Bahia.
right, mixed with all those
negócio quando a ficha quebrar
It's unbelievable, very strong. And the Imamish believe in it. And the Imamish believe in it. The same thing is if you go, I went to Peru, the Peruvian. In Peru, it's very strong. Peru is very strong. Guatemala is very strong. What? Bahia.
Bahia e Salvador, what you say?
Bahia, yes.
We say.
No.
No, é macumba. Macumba. In Brazil, every city got a rich craft. Every city got a rich craft in the center of the city. Yeah, in the center of the city, and they say it's a garden of the city.
So the city pays for it?
Yeah, they do a big craft on the center of the really big in the center of the city to guard the city. Every city, the Catholic peoples, os padroeiros da cidade que faz estado. Every city.
For witchcraft?
Oxe, é verdade, todo mundo sabe aqui, filho. Antes de vir para o judaísmo, eu rezava sempre nessa cidade.
Yes, I know. Anyhow, what's important for us to know that Baruch Hashem, we out of it. And what's important for us, when we go around those people, we can't smell the fragrance. When you buy those things, when I went to Brazil, I didn't buy any candles. I bought candles from Israel for Shabbat. Because I knew if I buy candles in the stores, all the candles are made for Avodah Zarah. All of them. And I got stuck one time in Peru. I forgot some other country. I remember one of the countries in South America. I remember, what was it? It was Peru or, I don't remember, Argentina, someplace, I forgot already. Doesn't matter. One of those countries in South America or Mexico. Anyhow, so every you go into a store, all the candles are for idol worshiping. Red color, this, you smell it. You walk into the store, you can barely breathe. You have all smell, you want to run out. You can't even smell it. It's a big problem. And in China is even worse. In China, every store they have an aside, some kind of also in South America too, but there's much stronger. They have like a place where they burn incense for their forefathers, where they worship. Really, every house, every store, they have that. You can barely walk nowhere. I remember one time I went to China. I wanted to see a school how they learn. They teach little kids from 3 years old, not karate, but those kung fu and all those tai chi and all those things. So I went with my son, and they showed us this guy, master. He knows how to punch a tree. Bah, 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 I punch a tree. So my son said, I can punch too. You learn it from 3 years old. I'm Yeshiva. Bah, 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 bah. See? Okay, but anyhow, suddenly I look at the side, and I see in the corner they have like a little shack. And in the shack, they burn incense. I said, let's get out of here. Now, in the middle of the guy's talking, he goes, whoa, we ran out. I said, what's going on? We ran like running from fire. You don't want to be in a place like that. You have to be very careful. Very careful. Very careful. It says, you decide, you appease the smell, you are sinner. Very, very dangerous. To be very careful not to enjoy the smell. Okay, turn the page. That's the power of fragrance, of smell, that the smell can enter your nose or nostrils, and keep away from it. Keep away.
In this past week's party we had about the fragrance, the guitars, right?
Right.
Do they also, do the Goyim,
Do ktores v'chazonasho. Over here. Go here, and right here, across the street here, the Christians. Many times, you were here not too many years. And many times, burn incense. Makes the whole mountain, especially Shabbos afternoon. Shabbos afternoon, I remember. Shabbos afternoon, many times the Christians burn incense. Many times. You should smell it because it's you next to them. This dormitory is mine next to their church. And many times, maybe they stopped lately, but I remember years and years and years. You remember in the Shabbos afternoon, they used to burn incense, such the whole Mount Zion got full of smell. Yes. Okay.
They stop?
Okay.
Marecia, la neve,
Ve'ein mevorchim al haner, and you don't bless on the candle.
sheyet.
Ad sheyotu lo. You're not to make a blessing and Motzei Shabbat on the candle until you enjoy the light. Omar Rav Marav says, Lo yotu mamash doesn't mean to enjoy real enjoyment. Ela kol she'eno oime, kol she'ilu oime bekiruv. All that as if when you stand nearby, umishtamesh lo'ora, you can use the light. Ve'afilu be'urhug makom, even in a distant place, which means the light has to be a light, and when you're close to it, you can enjoy it. So such a candle that when you're close to it, you can enjoy it. So even when you're far away, you can make a blessing on it. It's very important for Motzei Shabbat. Motzei Shabbat, you have one guy here. He lights two little matches, and you're standing far away. You can't even enjoy it. But if you are close, you're able to enjoy it. Even when you're far away, you can make a blessing. But the light has to be a type of light that if you're close, you can enjoy it. Let's see in Rashi.
But what means enjoy it, Rabbi? You have to see, to
Enjoy
read
means that you can use the light. You can see things. You can use the light, not a little dim light you can use. It's to be a serious light. Rashi. Lo yotu mamash. Rashi on top of the page. Shafilu lo neno mimenu. Even if you don't have any pleasure from it, because the way you're standing, you can enjoy it. Mevorchim olav, you do make a blessing on it. So why the Mishnah says you're not to make a blessing until you enjoy it, until you can use the light. Umay ad sheyotu. What does it mean in the Mishnah until you use it? Ad sheyeh orora uilenot. Until the light will be proper, have the ability to pleasure from imenu. Laundim slamuchlo, those that stay next to it. Ve'oz, and then mevorchim olav. Only then you can make a blessing on it. Afilo echokim imenu, even those that distance away from it. Ubilvat shiru, as long as you can see it. If you can see it, and there's a type of fire that if you be close, you can enjoy it, you can make a blessing. The Zohar HaKadosh says that when we light the light for Motzei Shabbat to make a blessing, you have to look on your fingernails in two ways. First of all, one way like this, you can see your fingernails and your skin, because the fingernails are shiny. So you can look and your fingernails can shine, the light can shine. And then there's also, you bend your fingers and you look again. One like this, one like this. You ever saw that people do that? It's from the Zohar HaKadosh. There's a lot of secrets to it, but that's what a person should do. First open his fingers and then bend his fingers. They can see both. You can see like this or like this. Now, why altogether we look at the fingernails? Because the fingernails are shining? Or no? There's a reason.
Rabbi,
What is the reason, David?
I hear about
The other day you said that.
Back into the, I
What?
won't say exactly, but it goes somewhere in this region here. Putting the light back, bringing the light back up.
Okay.
It's like
De cambio?
Rabbi,
No, but why the fingernails?
I heard that
I
Adam.
thought you guys know.
I heard that Adam Arishon, he was in whole bodies, stuff
Yes,
like that,
that's the
to
reason.
remember it.
Because the whole body was covered with nails. And then just the nails stayed on our fingers. So you want to remember,
Coisa assim.
probably not strong nail, it can move. Like you have schus. Some kind of a cover.
Todo era tinha unha parecendo
And the nails stayed.
Não era a unha, era parecido.
Until Hashem sewed the cover for him. The cover. Protection. Because the Adam Arishon in the beginning was created with no clothing. So how was able to stand the heat and the cold?
He had like a jacket or something that.
He had a cover. The skin was this type of a cover skin. He was able to be protected. And then when he sinned, so then it stayed only in the fingers, and Hashem had to sew. And you realize he's naked. Hashem had to sew for him from Alei Te'ena to cover him. He covered himself. Hashem had
The
to.
Olam Haba returning this.
What?
The Olam Haba returning this quality?
I don't know. I don't know what's Olam Haba. I wasn't there. Vechen in the same way. No, but there's Olam Haba. I don't know. Vechen in the same way. Amar Ravashi. Ravashi said the same thing. Berichuk makom shaninu. When the Mishnah says to enjoy the light, means even far away. It means just to have the ability, if you're close, to enjoy, but you can be far away. Meitvei. The Gemara asks the question. Aita lo ner tmuna bechiko. If he had a candle hidden in his pocket, one is inside pocket. Or bepanas, or in the glass cover. He had a candle covered with glass. Ashishit. Or שראה שלהבת ולא נשתמש לו רע, or he saw flame, but he didn't use the light. Or נשתמש לו רע, or he used the light, ולא רע שם, he didn't see the flame. He just sees light, no flame. אינו מבורך, he doesn't make a blessing. Add until שיראה שלהבת, until he sees the flame, וישתמש לו רע, and use the light. When the candle is in this pocket, so that you see light coming out. Or you see the candles covered with glass, the olden day glass, not our glass. We can't even see clear. The olden glass, you just see light outside, you don't see the flame. Or you saw they used the light, not the flame. You didn't see the flame, or you saw the flame, not the light. It's very hard for me how you can see the flame without a light.
See the flame without light?
You saw the flame, but you didn't use the light. That's what it says here. Now, what does that mean? You didn't use the light. Okay. You saw the flame, but you didn't use the light, or used the light, you didn't see the flame. That's possible. So you don't make a blessing until you see the flame and you use the light. So now the Gemara wants to clarify. Bishleim, it makes sense. Mishtamesh lo. You're using the light. V'lo ra shalev, you didn't see the flame. How? What's the case? What is the case that you use the light, you didn't see the flame? Mashkachas lo is to be found. The kaim b'keren zovi, that you're standing in the corner, in the horn corner. Means a corner of a house or a road. So it's behind the corner. You can see the light without seeing the flame. Seeing the flame, but you didn't use the light. What's the case? How can you find such a case? Love, isn't it? Isn't it very simple? That you can see from far away a flame, but you can't use the light because you're far away. And the Mishnah says you cannot make a blessing until you see the flame and you can use the light. It means you have to be close. And we just said before, name of Ravashi and Rav Yehuda Marav, that no, you can see the flame from far away and make a blessing if it's a type of flame that if you're being, it's proper to be used if you be close, even though you're far away. So you can see the flame without using the light, you still can make a blessing. Contradiction. So from the Berachot we see a question against Ravashi and Rav Yehuda Marav. The Gemara answers, "Lo, not true. Kegon de amya ve'ozlo. No, I'll tell you a different case. What does it mean? Seeing a flame and not using the light means you see the flame going down and down and down. Me'amya means it's getting dim, ve'azla, and going away. It's getting dimmer and dimmer and going away. It means it's dying away. So then you can see a flame, but you cannot use a light. But really, even if you're being close, you cannot use a light. So now it means that you have to be close and not far. There's no difference, even far away, because it doesn't matter. It wouldn't help you to be close because the type of fire that's just dimming and dimming and dimming going down. So it's very important. In Avdalah, when you light 2 matches, and now it's in the end of the fire, because you have the end of the stick, you only burn your finger almost, and it just the fire just goes down and down and dimming down. Can you make or not? You can't, because the Nami goes down. But if the flame is good, even though you're far away, you don't see the light, you see the flame. But if you're being close, you can see it. If you come close, you can use it. It's okay. Capish? Okay. Next Gemara. Tanu Rabbanan, the Rabbi taught us. Gechalim. What is the word gechalim? Gechalim is cold. Gechalim lochashot. Coals which are whispering coals. You know what whispering coals mean?
What?
You ever saw whispering coals? Coals that whisper.
That's respect.
That's for instance.
What is whisper? I say in Spanish.
Silbar.
Huh?
Silbar.
Silbar, sí.
No,
¿Qué causa?
not whistling. Whispering.
Causa sonido.
You use that for the
How do you say in English?
Dice whispering calls. Calls within a weekend for English.
Kind of talking?
Cuando
Not
cocina.
talk. They make
Cuando
noise.
cocina. El sonido que
Whispering coals.
Borbulha, fervendo.
Oh, you never saw whispering coals?
Sonido que hace.
Mao. You have a name of
Uma
wife.
vaca, vocês
You ever saw
têm
whispering coals?
La flama de la brasa.
Ai! We know.
You know what is it?
É, aquela zoadinha é só no seu nome. But we don't know the name, but we know. We don't remember how to say it in Portuguese, but we know.
But you know what it is?
Yeah.
Cuando haces un asado.
Maybe there is no name to it also.
Cuando estalla.
Okay. Tanu Rabbanan, the Rabbi taught us. Gechalim lo chashot. Coals which whisper.
Un asado, las brasas.
Whispering coals. Mevanchim aleim, you bless on them. Why? Because light comes out of it.
Explosioncitas.
You don't have a flame, but you have light come out of it. There's mamish red, burning white, yellow color. Light comes out of it. So Tanu Rabbanan, the Rabbi told us. Gechalim lo chashod, mevanchim aleim, you make a blessing on it. Omemot. What is omemot in Spanish, in English? Omemot means that they, what's it helping? Omemot,
Dimming calls.
dim is dim. If you have dim coals, and mevachim, you don't make a blessing on them. The Gemara now defines. Eichidami lo chashot. How do I define coals which are whispering? Amar Rav Chizda says, "Kol all sheilu machnis etocham kisam." If you put inside of them a kisam, kisam means a wick, not a wick. Wick is
Splinter.
Oh, you have the things that people put in the teeth.
Palillo.
A pick, a
Palillo.
pick. If you put inside of the pick, vedolek, right away gets burnt. Melo by itself, it's called whispering coal. So then you can make a blessing, but if it's dimming, which means it's dimming down, as the fire is not so strong, dimming down, you cannot make a blessing on them. The Gemara asks a question in language. Ibolu, omemot or omemot? Omemot dimming was with an aleph, omemot is with an ayin. Toshma, you should listen. Amar Rav Chizda bar Rav Dimi. Rav Chizda brings a verse from Ezekiel. Arazim lo imemuhu began Elokim. Cedar trees did not deem in the garden of God. So it has used the word deeming with an ayin. The Rove says, Yotu mamash. Now Rove goes back to the beginning against Rav Yudah Amarav and Ravashi. Rav Yudah Amarav and Ravashi says you don't even have to use it mamash, you have to be from far away. But he argues, Rove says you have to really enjoy it. When you make a blessing, you have to come close and enjoy the fire, the light to make a blessing. The kama, how much you have to come close? Ula says, in order to recognize benisa lepudyon, between one coin is called isa and another coin which is called pudyon, is a smaller one, which means to recognize between the bigger and smaller coin. That's how much close you have to come. You can recognize that, then you can make a blessing. Boy moreish. Chizki Omer, that's the halacha. Kedei sheyakir ben mluzmo shel Tveria lemluzo shel Ziborim, which means in order to make a difference between a weight of Tiberius and the weight of Tziporim. Mluzmo is a weight. He used to have little metal weight. You can see it in Guatemala and many southern countries or in Africa. They still use, you saw it, right? They still use how do you call it? A balance weight scale, and they have those little metal round stones, so you can use between this, the difference between what country, which means harder to use. So you see the difference in this weight and that weight of Tiberius, weight of Tzipori. Then you make a blessing. The Gemara says a story. Rav Yudah mevorech adebei Ada Dalia. Rav Yudah used to make a blessing on the house of Ada Dalia. Rashi. Rav Yudah mevorech al or shel bet Ada Dalia. Rav Yudah used to stand in his house and look from his window to this neighbor's house named Abadalia. Verachot mi beito haya was distance away from his house. Rav Yudah letime, Rav Yudah follows his opinion. You don't need to be nearby. As long as you see the fire, and if you're being close, you're able to enjoy it, even though now you can't enjoy it because you're far away, you can still make a blessing. So he used to say, from his neighbor's house. Wow. He saw from his own window, neighbor's house fire. He made a blessing on it.
There's an explanation was hard to
Rova, yes.
There is explanation to it was like hard to put fire on a
Those are
candle?
very hard. You know how hard it is to make fire? Very hard. Rova mevorech adebei Guria. Rava used to bless on his neighbor Guria. Barchama, Guria Barchama. Abai mevorech adebei Baravua. Abai used to bless on his neighbor Adbei and the house of Baravua. Omar Avinu Marav. Avinu Marav says. So Rashi says that Rava, he blessed on his neighbor. His neighbor was really close. He had a very close neighbor. So not a distance away, very close neighbor. Because Rava, his opinion, needs to be nearby. Omar Rav Yudah Marav says, En mechazrim alaur, you don't search in Motzei Shabbat after a candle if you don't have for Avdalah. Kederech shemechazrim ala mitzvot, in the same way you have to search for mitzvah. For a mitzvah you have to search everywhere, right? Spend even 20% of your money to do a mitzvah. For positive mitzvah, a person has to spend 20% of his money. For negative, not to do a negative, all his money. You don't search for mitzvot of candles on Motzei Shabbat. Like you go for mitzvahs. Why? Because it's only like lechatchila. It's only in the better, but not obligation like any other mitzvah. Omar Rab Zeira says, Mereish, in the beginning, Ave Ma'adrana used to search after candle for Motzei Shabbat to say a bracha. Boy Mereish came in the shaman, and once I heard, Lord Rav Yudah Marav, what Rav Yudah Marav says that you don't search, you don't go after like you go after mitzvot. Ananami, I also Lo Ma'adrana, I stopped searching for it. Elo rather, Mikla Eli, if it bumps into me, Mimela by itself, Mevarchin, I blessed it. But if it didn't bother me, I don't bless. And that's the halacha by the way. Okay. Review. Make a review.
Faz do banho.